But lo kol adam, not every person, yochal is able, lagia, to reach madrega zu, this level. True Abraham founded Judaism, and true Judaism is a religion, and true Judaism is, open for all the Jews or anyone who wants to convert. But what is Judaism? Judaism is doing Torah, doing the commandments with the attitude of Abraham. Says the Rebbe, most people cannot get to this level. Hainu de'im yos, that even though asher kol adam, that every human being, hine bekocho, it is in his ability, v'yacholto, it is in his power and in his ability, lahavin, to understand, haskala, ideas, elokit, of godliness, v'hasbara, v'havana tova, with good explanation and understanding, b'kol prati and yani davar b'inyaneha, with all of its details. Right nowadays, Chassidut is translated into English, and you can go online and you can see it's translated into almost every language in the world, and you can go online and you can get explanations. And if you don't understand the explanations, you can call up. There's numbers you can call up, and you can say, listen, I don't understand. What is Panemius Ak? What is Tzimtzum Rishon? What is it? And they'll explain.
Advertisement now for Yeshiva Ohr Tmimim.
Yeah, sure, you can write me. You want to ask questions.
Come.
Yeah, come, write emails. I'll try to answer. Here we go. So you can understand everything. You can understand all of the details. And these mimers, there's Samach Vav, and there's Ayin based in Maimorim of the Rebbe Rishab. Tremendously deep ideas. You can understand everything. But Litbonen, you can think about it. You can contemplate it. Ba'amakat adat, and deepening your mind. Lefi arko, ad until yit orer, your heart will be aroused. The emet, really. Libatel, a love to be negated to God. Yitborech. That's the whole purpose of these Chassidic ideas, is that your heart should get aroused. Your heart should be devoted to God, excited about the Creator. Your heart, not just your mind. So everybody can do it. But hine lo kol adam yochol lavo l'madregazu. Even though, yes, it is available, it is possible, but not everybody can do it. It's not going to work. like you say, lahavdil. You see in sports, right? You have professional basketball players, professional football players, professional baseball players, but only one or two of them are like really special. The others, they practice exactly as much as everybody else. They practice, but for some reason they just did. And then that's not talking about those are the professionals. Then you have the semi-professionals. Then you have the amateurs. And it could be that they practice equally as much as these other people, but for some reason they just don't make it to the major league. Just doesn't get in there, right? But they love the game. Love the game. Same thing with everything, right? But concert pianist, concert violinist, concert whatever it is, the singers, professional performers, right? There's thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it, right? You can do it to a certain degree. You can dance, and sometimes the people anyway. But how many people really get the ball? Not too many. Right? Not too many are really, concert pianists, a few hundred, who knows, 1,000. And then how many people are trying? 50 times as many, 100 times as many. But she says, what does that mean? That you can't appreciate the piano, you can't appreciate sports, you can't appreciate... Of course you can. Says the Rebbe, it's the same thing, lahavdil. Okay, let's not even talk about the tzaddik. Let's just talk about the Benoni, right? Even a regular Jew. A regular Jew. No, to think about God. It's like it says, halavai Benoni. It should only be that we can come to really love God, appreciation of God. So it's available for everybody, but not everybody can do it. Nevertheless, so what are we talking about it for? What's the point? Says the Rebbe, that on this the prophet is wondering, and he says, Ani Hashem lo shiniti, va'atem b'nei Yaakov lo chalitem. I, God, have never changed. God is speaking through the prophet. I think it's Isaiah. I have to look and see. God said, I am God. I never changed. And you, the Jewish people, will never be destroyed. No, what's so amazing about that? It says there's a Chassidic explanation. I am God. I never change. And you, the real kalitem also means to expire. To expire. You Jewish people, you think about me, and your soul is not expiring. You're not going out of yourself. You're not going crazy with love. Right? I am God. I never change. I am infinite. I am true, pure life. And you Jewish people aren't excited about that? Atem b'nei Israel lo chilitem. You're not excited. You're excited about money. You're excited about it. You're not excited about the be'emet that really hamidbonen ba'amakat hadar, a person that thinks deeply, b'hasaga, in the idea, ani Hashem lo shiniti, that I am God, I never changed. I am God, that I am impossible that I should change. Exactly the opposite. I create all change. When you think about this, how real God is, hare, behold, hare davar zeh, this thing, rak, hare havanav hasagazu, behold, this understanding, hayata tzaricha, it should have, okay, Herschel, hevi liadei kalot nefesh, this should bring a person to, how do you call it, kalot nefesh? Expiring, going out of himself, going crazy. Shalo lachpos b'shum davar, he should not desire anything, rak likalel bo, only to be included in the oneness of God. Va'al zehu matmia, right? Like you see people do with money, people do with rock and roll stars, with this, they go crazy, go berserk. Oh, here I'm in the same room with this. I have a chance to win $1 million. Oh, he's going crazy. Al zehu matmia. That's what the prophet is surprised, and he says, "Madua atem b'nei Yaakov." Why is it you Jewish people lo chalitem? Why aren't you expiring? Why aren't you going crazy for God? Can't understand it. And that he's not talking about the non-religious Jewish people. He's talking about the religious Jewish people, the people that think about God, and they're not excited. Right? They don't get excited. Why aren't you? Take a little bit more time. Why? Hainu mipeneki kashal ba'avoni kochi. The reason that a person does not feel God is because of himself. Stuck in himself in Egypt. Perish the oto akoach va'oz. That same power, the sagef et Yetzer Hora, to withhold pleasure from his evil impulse, shalo yirtzeh b'taivat devorim gashmin, that it should not go after physical pleasures. Physical pleasures are not bad, but to live for the physical pleasures, that's bad. Right? If the question is, do you have the pleasure, or does the pleasure have you? Va'oto hakoach, that power, va'oz, la'achriach et nefesh, that a person can force his nefesh ativis, he can force his ego, sheyirtze, that he should want, lahavi nasag elokis, that he should want to understand God, the yirtze libo ba'ava, and that his heart should be filled with love to God. In a oto akoach shehi, this power of, how do you want to call it, defiance, that every Jew has inside of himself, that I am going to defy the world, and I am going to start thinking about God. Every person has this. Das is their koach. This is the power from Yeder Yidden. Every single Jew has the power to say, I am going to be a Jew. I am not going to just go after the pleasures and the urges and the impulses and the whatever it is, the influences of the world. I'm going to influence the world. I'm going to be a Jew. That's what a Jew is. I mean, I know it. Every time somebody calls me a dirty Jew or something like that, I get all excited. Why? I don't do anything Jewish. Right? Why am I so excited? Instant, right? You go to a Reformed Jew. You're not a good Jew. I'm just as good a Jew. I mean, he's not doing any commandments. He's not doing maybe he doesn't even believe in God. He's a Jew. He says that thing of being a Jew, that's the power inside of every Jew. Use that power in order to serve God. What's wrong? He says, why don't you use it? It trips up in a person's sins. Shuhu nechlash, it becomes weakened al yedei avonos, by means of sins. Now we're not talking about actually purposeful sins that he goes out and steals. We're talking about a person just becomes selfish and he worships himself. That itself, we're talking about even a Chassidic Jew, we're even talking about me. A person is himself, he thinks about himself, he feels himself. And because of that degree that you feel yourself, you can't get excited about God. Right? You sit and you start to think about godliness. I forgot to call this. I forgot. She'ein b'kocho l'sagef et the hora, that all of a sudden he cannot withhold, he cannot defy his own selfish impulses. La'atzor ba'ado, to stop his selfish impulses. Shalo yimshoch acharei dovrim gashmin, not to be drawn after physical things. Ve'ein b'kocho la'achriach et nefesh hativis, he has not gotten his power to stop his animal soul, the orer bo ratzon lahavin hasag elokis, just can't do it, to start understanding godliness. There's a well-known thing in the world, very, very great power, very, very thing, it's called addictions. Addictions. People are addicted. Millions, hundreds of millions of people, maybe billions of people, maybe even everybody, to a certain degree, are addicted. What does it mean, addicted? That a person knows something is bad for him. He knows it's bad. And he wants to stop. And he's trying to stop, and he can't stop. He can't stop. He knows it's bad. He wants to stop doing it. He wants to stop smoking. He wants to stop drinking. There's worse things. There's stupid things. Right? And he just can't stop. He can't stop himself. No matter what he does, he takes patches and shots and treatments and hypnotism, everything in the world. He gets friends and he goes to groups and he did this and he tries and he can't stop. He says, why can't he stop? You really can't stop. You're a human being. A human being can stop anything if he wants to. He says, no. But he just can't muster up the power of defiance to look how to... Okay, you're not talking about stopping cold turkey, like they say. Find the trick. Find the trick how you can stop, right? I know somebody stopped smoking. How did he stop smoking? He tried a lot of times. He couldn't do it. And finally he said, okay, 1 second. There's Shabbos, and then there was like 2 days of Rosh Hashanah or something. Shabbos and 2 days. So there was 3 days he didn't smoke. In Chabad, they try not to smoke on Rosh Hashanah. We don't smoke. So he said, okay, he's not going to smoke. Or maybe it was another holiday, whatever, 3 days. So he said, okay, listen, 3 days, you know what? After 3 days, I'm not going to smoke the next day. How can I not smoke the next day? He told his friend or something like that, listen, I want you to stand by me after when we pray Ma'ariv and we make that, just remind me, don't smoke. Huh? No, he didn't make a vow. He was very careful not to make a vow. I'm going to try. He told his friend to remind him. So he said, okay, I'm going to stop smoking 1 more day. You know, tell me Rosh Hashanah this year is 3 days. They made a mistake. 3 days. Right? Don't smoke till 3 days. 3 days he didn't smoke. He says, what about the next day? He says, okay, listen, I'm already out for 3 days. I didn't do it 3 days. I'll do 1 more day. And then the next day I'll smoke. And soon enough, he put it off for 4 or 5 days and suddenly he realized, you know, now he has an urge to smoke. It wasn't such a strong urge anymore. It wasn't such a strong. And he always thought to himself, listen, I've been trying to stop so long, maybe just a little puff. And that's what I said already 50 times. The same thing here we're talking about, thinking about a God. Here we're talking about just turning from bad. Here we're talking about doing good. Says the Rebbe, the reason you can't do good is because you're caught in bad things. You're caught in bad patterns, and you can't get out of the bad patterns to open up yourself to new patterns.
That's of course. The normal person, though, is just being in this world. This world is a big seduction.
Yes, but like I say, we're not talking. Addictions is a person that he wants to stop and he can't.
That's the worst case.
Right. If a person says, I don't care, I'm giving up, so that person, you can't say he's addicted, right? He's addicted.
Addiction is somebody who will self-destruct. Anything defeat is addiction.
A person who wants to self-destruct, right, according to all the countries in the world, as far as I know, right, if he does it quietly to himself, he can self-destruct. But in every country, the Rebbe brought this up. Every country in the world that's civilized, a person gets up on a bridge, someone wants to jump into the water and kill himself, so they do everything they can to stop the person. Even though he's not going to hurt anybody.
Don't they arrest him after they stop him?
I don't know. Maybe they try to stop him, whatever it is. But every place in the world, they know that it's accepted that life is precious.
It's illegal to do that.
And you don't
can't try to kill yourself. It's illegal.
Maybe not in public, but private, you can do whatever you want.
But still, even in private, it's illegal.
No. Not so. The police broke into somebody. A lady calls up and says, my husband is trying to kill himself. Come in. They come in. It's not illegal. They won't try him and put him in jail.
Well, I was thinking not about killing yourself, but when people like have addictions to certain drugs, their addictions to gambling, they lose their businesses, they lose their families. They don't necessarily, end their lives right there, but their lives is totally destroyed.
Right.
This is,
it's also illegal.
That's
This tendency of a person, those are exaggerated examples. This tendency of a person to do things that he doesn't want to do, right? If he would stand firmly, he could stop, but he doesn't. He can't muster up the power to do it. That's just turning from bad. What about doing good? Sitting and thinking about God. No, you have to muster up another power of defiance, just to sit and think about God. And then after he starts thinking about God, you're supposed to get excited. So the Rebbe says, why don't you get excited? Because you don't want to activate your power of defiance against the world. Right? You don't want to separate yourself from the world. Still thoughts come into your mind, right? Yeah, but what's going to be about this, and what about the baseball game, and what about what's going to be with Iran, and what's going to be here and there. And so because of that, a person is always occupied. Even if a person is thinking, what does that Gemara say? What is that? This is also a distraction from getting excited about God. How to get over it, we'll talk about it, God willing, next class.